My name is Eli Orland. I go to Middlebury College in Middlebury, Vermont, from Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm studying geology with a minor in Spanish. I'm very thankful to the behind-the-scenes people that sort of fielded my emails, fielded a somewhat panicky email, and in turn, we're still grateful to accept my my CV. And now here I am, sort of all kind of happened in a whirlwind of a situation, and I have no regrets at the moment. I was accepted to program I, which is volcanic monitoring. It's taking diffuse gas samples on the north-south rift of the island Tenerife. And a lot of this involves driving around to random locations in the south of the island, pulling on the side of the road, bring out a little dance move, listen to the radio. You stick some metal probes in the ground, start taking gas samples, and while we're measuring gas samples, or while we're taking gas samples, we're also using a machine to measure the CO2 flux that's coming from the ground, all related to Tay-Day or all related to distinguishing what gas is coming from Tay-Day, what's sort of volcanically influenced, and what's coming from the natural biodiversity that we see on the island. I certainly never was as good of a dancer back in the States, although I'm sure that's not what sort of what most people were thinking. On the other hand, though, I learned a lot about working in a lab, learning what that environment is like, but also sort of the nature behind field work. I've done field work before. I was in New Zealand. I was doing a lot of field mapping there, well, trying to do a lot of field mapping there. What I learned here was actually what it means to have a project that's not related to school and try to carry that through and understand that what you're doing is not just related to getting a grade at the end, but actually can contribute to the greater scientific community. Well, especially as an American student, I think there's still, to me, a very distinctly European feel to the Canary Islands, specifically Tenerife. That was not something I was expecting. And though that's by no means not a bad thing, I actually love the European culture. It certainly was something I never took into account before coming here. And at least on the work side, I expected to work hard, and I think people coming into this, they should also expect the same, because it's certainly not easy work, but it's also very rewarding work. I found I had some very fantastic experiences, and I'm certainly going to remember this as a period in which I had a lot of fun, I worked really hard, and I also had to push myself a little bit physically as well. So you're spending 8-9 hours a day. It doesn't always get too hot. We had a couple days in the 40s. Luckily, it doesn't really go much higher than that or that very often. But I think those are all things to keep in mind. If you're able to be outside a lot, I think it'll be just fine. I discovered my love of Canarian coffee, very specifically in the form of a barquito. Sort of maybe focused on them a little bit too much during the work days, at least with anticipation to having one. Overall, I found it was a very enjoyable experience to sort of be in the midst of 4 other strangers, none of whom I knew prior to this program, obviously, and just sort of, you're living with them, you're doing everything with them, you're working with them, and it manifests in a lot of really hilarious situations, like, well, a lot of dancing on the side of the road. That was really, really fun. A lot of just sort of going to these random places on the island, having no idea where you're going or what you're going to do, but absolutely having a blast. And also doing a lot of the excursions with Sharon and Ignacio. There's very, very similar situation, not really knowing a whole lot about what's going on, and then getting there and just realizing how special the island is, and really being able to see a different side of the island as opposed to just sort of driving around doing field work on it. It was a very, very valuable experience. I often find that America is sort of, it's not necessarily insular, but the diversity of states allows you to find most of what you're looking for within any of the states, which includes, obviously, field programs and field camps. And I was fortunate to go to New Zealand, do a field camp there, and I found that coming to yet another location where they speak another language, very different culture, and learning about what it means to practice science and to learn more about these things, and actually be near a volcano, which for me, at least in the United States, I'm not near any of the ones in the Pacific Northwest. So this is an extremely unique opportunity for me.